Hi everyone, it's Roxanne, and today is episode 3 of Bed Confessional. And today I wanted to talk about the kindness of strangers. Um, I really wanted to talk about something that happened to me yesterday. So, to give you some context, right now I'm in my room in Albania because I'm staying in Albania for a week on vacation. I know I was in Berlin like a couple days ago for those that have been following my Instagram stories. So I went to Berlin for 5 days. I came back to Paris where I live, and then the next day I flew out to Tirana, which is the international airport in Albania, and now I'm spending a week here. It was a very long journey. I was super tired because I slept for like 2 hours before I took my flight from Berlin because I was out having fun. Then I came back to Paris. I came back, I unpacked, I washed my clothes, I packed again. I had to take the bus for an hour and a half to the airport. Then the flight from Paris to Albania was 3 hours long. And then I had to go to the bus station to take the bus for like 5 hours because right now I'm not like in the capital city in Tirana. As I said, I'm in the countryside. But the story is, on the plane, there was a woman and her daughter sitting like a few rows in front of me, and I just noticed them because they had very very blonde hair, big blue eyes. I didn't talk to them, but I just like they stood out to me. And when I got to the bus station, they were there as well. And the mom came towards me and started telling me with the little French that she knew, "Oh, I remember you from the plane." And I said, "I remember you as well from the plane because we were on the same flight and I remember seeing you as well." Um, the mom didn't really speak French or English, but her 7-year-old daughter spoke perfect French. So she was kind of like translating for the both of us. And I found out that they were both from Ukraine and they were fleeing the country because of the war that's happening right now. And the father is currently in Albania working, making money, and he flew his wife and his daughter to come and live here. And we were on the same bus for 5 hours, so we had time to talk. And I was mostly talking to the daughter because the mom was, would tell the daughter, tell her this, and so the daughter would tell me. And then I would tell the daughter, could you tell your mom this? And so the daughter would translate for me. Um, Sometimes the mom could tell me things directly, but again, she only knew like a couple words in French. But very, very, very sweet and kind people. But most of the time, yeah, the daughter was like, she's a lot like me. Like she's a real chatterbox, so she just wanted to share a lot of stories. And we were talking about like her cousin who also had to flee Ukraine, and now she's living in Egypt, and other family members that had to leave, etc. Like I feel like the daughter wanted to share those stories with me. Um, Long story short, we arrive at our bus stop after 5 hours on the bus. And it was like 3 in the morning. The bus ride was a lot longer than expected. And the owner of the Airbnb where I'm staying was supposed to pick me up. Like he was supposed to be waiting for me there. He fell asleep. I don't blame him. So when I called him, he said, "I'm sorry, I fell asleep. Give me 15 minutes, I'll be there." But the bus had left. Everyone that had booked a taxi was gone, and so it was just me waiting there by myself. And the thing is, it's not like a bus stop, it was like a random place in the city with like nothing around it. Every store that was around was closed. There was like one street light. um so I was there by myself. I'm a woman, it's 3 in the morning in a foreign country. Like, this is not the most comfortable situation for me to be in. And the mom and the daughter were waiting for the father to come pick them up. And the mom called her husband and said, "Give us a little more time before you come and pick us up." The daughter translated that for me. "Give us a little more time because we're waiting for our friend to be picked up first before we leave." And so when the owner of the Airbnb came, he picked me up, and the mom and the daughter waited with me until I was picked up to leave. And they didn't have to do that. We didn't know each other. We barely spoke. I mean, we only spoke on the bus. We didn't know each other from before. We don't speak the same language. We don't owe anything to each other, but it's such a small thing, but it meant a lot to me because while traveling, I love to travel and I've traveled a lot in my life. I'm very fortunate for that. I have met a lot of bad people while traveling, but I've also met a lot of wonderful people while traveling. And what's even more wonderful about it, it's the people that don't know you and you don't know, that don't know anything about you, but that still help you out, that still, you know, reach their hand out to you when you need it. And you can't always rely on strangers because you can't. You just can't. And relying on people in general. But there are times where I'm just so. It made me a little emotional earlier because I was thinking about it, and I even called my dad this morning because I called my dad to. Sorry. I called my dad to tell him how my flight went and how everything went, just to keep him updated. You know, that's our rule. My dad tells me you can do whatever you want, you can go wherever you want, but just keep me updated so I know how you're doing, where you are, if you're okay. So that's always been our ground rule, one of our ground rules. But so I called him and I told him about it, and I told him how nice that was and how much the mom was trying to talk to me even though she was struggling, and that even when we had a break to go to the bathroom after 2 hours, the bus stopped and we could go to the bathroom, and I was the last one to come back. And I understood the mom was talking to me in Ukrainian, but I could understand that she was trying to tell me, I was making sure that you were here before the bus left. I was telling them to wait because you weren't here. She was, making all these gestures with her hands, and that's led me to understand that she wanted to make sure that they didn't leave me behind. When again, she didn't have to do that. And when I've traveled to other places like Dominica or St. Lucia last year when I was living in the West Indies in Guadeloupe, when I was traveling, I met people that almost saved my life sometimes. I was in dangerous situations and I didn't know what to do. And strangers stepped up and they helped me out. And I was so, I mean, I don't know. I was moved by it. It made me emotional because at times when I can feel a bit blue or I lose faith in people because of the bad people that I encounter, moments like these really reminds you how, first of all, life is worth living, and the good people make it worth living. The good people that you will meet, and hopefully, some of these good people you can keep in touch with. In this case, it didn't happen, but I mean, I just thought that was very sweet because, yeah, I was a bit nervous as I was waiting for the owner of the Airbnb because, as I said, I'm alone by myself. I'm a woman. It's 3 a.m. in the middle of nowhere because I'm basically in the countryside. I didn't have any internet because the moment I turned on my phone, like, I couldn't even use the internet. Like, I turned on my phone when I arrived at the airport so I could text my dad, turned on my 4G, and it immediately said, your internet is blocked. You have already used 60 euros of internet. I had just turned my phone back on, so I had no idea how can in 2 minutes I've used 60 euros of internet. So I told my dad, I texted him, I said, I can't even use my 4G. I can't even um, look a taxi company online. I can't use my phone. I can't use the internet. I can't use Google Maps. I can't I all I can do is wait. All I can do is wait for the guy to show up. Fortunately, I could call him, and because it is Albania is part of the European Union, uh, to call in Albania, even though I have a French phone number, isn't too expensive. But yeah, I was a bit stressed. I was like, what if he doesn't show up? What if he's late? What if something happens while I'm waiting alone? Because I thought I was going to be waiting alone. But this is one of the many, 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 many stories that I have about strangers that helped me. And I just think when strangers help you, it is the definition of selfless because they don't expect anything in return. They don't know you. They don't need to know you. They don't need to, you know, expect something in return to help you, regardless of how different we might be. And, also I was very moved by the stories that the daughter was telling me about how things were in Ukraine right now because all we know is what we read in the newspaper or what we see on TV, but I've never been to Ukraine, and I don't live in a country at war. I have no idea what it's like. So even when the daughter was telling me how things were, I was trying to keep a straight face because I'm 25. I'm not going to I didn't want to get emotional in front of a 7-year-old. Um, I thought that might make her upset or make her sad, so I didn't want to do that. But yeah, I was thinking about it because right now I came back from grocery shopping, um and I was thinking about it again, like how that was such a sweet moment, a sweet thing. um I did talk about Dominica in St. Lucia. I'll make different videos about what happened there, but those are also very interesting stories. Um, but it's just a reminder to not lose faith in people. It can be hard at times. We sometimes go through moments in our lives where we feel like, fuck it, people aren't worth it. I feel like I only meet bad people. I feel like there's no one I can trust. And life will prove you wrong, and you will come across the kind of people that will remind you you can trust people. There are good people out there. They're not easy to find, and unfortunately, they're not everywhere. But you also have to keep an eye out for them because if you close your heart completely, then when you do come across these people, you don't see them, you don't recognize them because your heart is closed to them. So, you know, and as I said, the language barrier, made it difficult. But as we're all people and we're all in this game together, this game of life together, there are things that we understand regardless of the language. We understand facial expressions, gestures, body language, the tone of voice. I know if you're upset or happy or sad, even though I might not know why, but I can tell, you know, we're all in this together, and I don't know. I thought that was a sweet story to share. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to post my drawing of the day soon. I just slept in a little this morning because, as I said, I arrived at the Airbnb at almost 4 a.m. I had to take a shower, have a little snack, and I went to bed. And as I said, it was a very long travel day yesterday, so I just needed some sleep. I just needed to go buy some groceries, um, change my euros into lek, because even though they take euros here, they will mostly use their own currency, which is lek. So yeah, I had a couple things to do before I came back. Um, but yeah, and hopefully the weather clears up. Like, it's a lot better now, but this morning it's super gloomy. So I'm like, it's okay. It's the first day, but I hope that the weather clears up and I can go to the beach tomorrow. So, anyways, I'll keep you updated in my stories, and I will take the time to tell you more about other adventures that I have during this trip and that I've had during other trips, because I do have a lot of stories to tell, and I want to share them with you guys. So, anyways, bisous, and I'll see you next time.